Thank you, military veterans, for your service. Merry Christmas. I'm Jody Pritzl. Thanks for being a loyal subscriber. Thanks to Jeff and Cheryl for sending their ornament identification questions in to booksbyjody.com. You can see my responses if somebody has an ornament they would like help identifying. I appreciate you. If you've read my book, Immigrants, Ornaments, and Legacies, you know that I talk about both World Wars, World War I and World War II. Today, 1939 to 1945 is going to be the focus of our conversation. I need to take you back to 1939 because it impacts what happens 1941 to 1945. You remember that gentleman by the name of August Strauss. He hires Max Eckhart. They're importers of Christmas ornaments from Germany, Poland, and Czechoslovakia, as is Woolworth's, Butler Brothers, and George Frankie's Sons. That's how Christmas trees are decorated, and that's why in 1938, sentiment changes. I have a saying, if I can't prove it, I won't say it, and my book has 358 footnotes in it. This publicity from 1938 shows the boycott called for Strauss-Eckhart. Also Woolworths and Butler Brothers for importing from Germany into the United States. Now, if you had spent your whole life building up a Christmas ornament business, you do something to save it. Enter Corning Glass Works in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. It's a small town of 4,000 people. They make light bulbs in Wellsboro. But the machine to make the light bulbs is converted to make Christmas ornaments. And in December of 1939, Corning Glass Works can make 1 million bulbs, but they basically missed the Christmas season. They can make these 5 spherical balls: red, green, blue, gold, silver. You also remember our friends at Premier Glassworks, right? When I think of American-made glass Christmas ornaments, I have to remind myself Corning and Premier Glass. Remember your dimple reflectors? They can also make balls. By 1940, Otto Kohler, the friend of Max Eckhart, perfects the machine that can actually stripe ornaments. He receives the patent in 1943, but the machine's ready to go by 1940. Corning can make 40 million bulbs by 1940. They make so many bulbs, they have to rent the auditorium in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. They tear out all the theater seats to store their ornaments. Now, even though Otto has striping, still in 1939 to 1940, I think this is one of the few decorated ornaments that you're going to see. It's a Premier 4-inch oblong with stripes. Because the machine technology, while perfected, again, it depends on the season. 1941, the first 2 of many employees in Wellsboro enlist in the armed services. It's the first year of stripes, courtesy of Otto Kohler. There's a transparent bell that comes into play with tinsel. Now, there's 2 styles of bells that you're going to find that are the 2-stripe bells. There's this Corning bell that has 2 stripes on it, and then you're also going to find the Premier bell. So the Premier bell also has 2 stripes, and those are going to date to about 1940. The big thing that happens in 1940, though, is the proliferation of oblongs. Some people call them teardrops, some people are calling them pears. I'm going to refer to this 1941 Corning ad and call them oblongs. Silver nitrate is starting to dwindle in supply, so there's pieces of tinsel in here. I'm going to call this long branch tinsel. Tinsel gets a short shrift. Tinsel is very important. It was one of the first imported Christmas goods. Here's another type of tinsel. I think this is crazy. If you look really close, they look like miniature tree branches. In my hands, I have a 2-stripe oblong Corning and a 2-stripe Premier Glass, both with the branch tinsel. If you look at this photograph, there's also a third kind of tinsel, call it the multicolored tinsel. It has little flakes of plastic in it. So when someone says they have a tinsel ornament, I'm going to ask them, do you have a tree branch? Do you have the long branch? Or do you have the multicolored tinsel? By 1942, there's still only 5 colors. Premier steps in, though, and they start putting a little stripe of red or blue on their dimple reflectors. 70 million is how many bulbs that Corning can make in 1942. But still, are these gorgeous? Still, it's red, green, blue. Aren't those just spectacular? All with the Made in the US of A cap on them. Transparents become the de facto bulb of 1943. Another change comes, though. Opaques. This is a red opaque. You're going to find these in blue and green also. So that's a change that comes about in 1943. The paint is actually on the outside because there's no silver nitrate inside. So the paint is actually on the outside. So opaques are something from 1943. You're still looking for that Made in USA cap. Another thing that happens in 1943, silver and gold disappear. And you have the start of orange. So this is an orange 3-stripe. Remember, they're decorated like this. You can see, too, if you look at your ornaments really close, this has a little bit of a flaw in it because it was still very, very new technology to be using. This is a 3-stripe orange transparent. They add a 3rd stripe to the bells. They add a 3rd stripe to the oblongs. I just like that little ornament. It symbolizes a lot to me. 1943, things are changing. Silver nitrate's going away. One of my prized possessions was acquired 20 years ago. Let me show you. You remember the 1939 box? This is what you're going to find during the war years. It is the 1939 Shiny Brite box. Inside my box is a complete set of red transparents. Bought them 20 years ago, paid little or nothing for them. Love them today. They look gorgeous on this tree. I'm thinking this tree is going to stay up for 365 days of the year because I love that tree. In 1943, stripes become huge. You've got a few stripes on that tree, and also you've got the stripes here. You have the pastel stripe. Green. Aren't those just spectacular? All with the Made in the US of A cap. I think that's a glorious collection. 1944, though, things change. No silver nitrate, no tinsel, and then no metal caps. But let's talk about cardboard caps, because everybody says, oh, I want to get a cardboard cap. And the question is, which cardboard cap would you like? Did that make you nervous? Makes me nervous too. Okay, can't hold them up too high because I don't want to lose the bell, the spear point. Here you have a loop Premier reflector. Here you have a Corning stripe. How gorgeous is that? You also have this Corning stripe. Now, you have the loop style cardboard cap. You have the diamond cardboard cap. And you have a circle cardboard cap. So there's multiple different styles of cardboard caps. This ornament intrigues me because I've got 2 here that actually intrigue me. This one, 1944 is really the heyday of cardboard caps, 44 and 45. This is a diamond cap with a sprig of tinsel in a non-silvered Corning bulb. So that tells me maybe it's really, really early 44 because it's got the cardboard cap and the tinsel. This one is a true mystery. Purple. Purple doesn't become a color until 1944. if you look at this style of cardboard cap, you can see it has the spring in it and a cardboard cap. So if metal's in short supply, why do I have a cardboard cap with a spring? At first I thought it was a doctored cap, but then I acquired a second one. And it is glued on. I think somebody had some extra springs laying around. I do. And they actually put it in the cardboard cap. That's a theory. We'll have to see if it's true. This is another set of cardboard caps. The debate is, was this machine painted or hand painted? If you look at the top of it, you can see that there's a spot of green. So if you look at the stripes, they're uniform. It's got the cardboard cap, probably 1944. I love the green leaf cardboard cap. Rose was a new color in 1944. Is that a spectacular ornament? Now that one I do think is hand painted. Just spectacular. Here you've got a red striped cardboard cap. So cardboard caps come in different styles, different sizes. But if someone says, I have a purple ornament, purple becomes the color in 1944, so it has this metal cap on it. So that tells me it was either after 45 or at the tail end of 43, maybe going into the 44 season. There were some extra caps laying around. So I've got a couple of purple with that Made in the US of A cap on them. It's just fun looking at your ornaments and seeing what stories they tell. This, I can just picture somebody hand painting that transparent to go on someone's Christmas tree in about 1943. 1945, things are pretty much the same as they are in 1944. Cardboard caps, no gold, no silver until after 1946. Gay in Michigan had a question for me. She said, hey Jody, how can I tell if somebody's got a faux ornament from the war years? Here's what I think. Gay, if you look at that 1941 ad and you see things like this lantern, if the mold was around in 1941, my guess is it could be made into a transparent. And I know for certain that some people have transparent lanterns like this. I don't think you're going to find mushrooms, Christmas trees, carriage lanterns, carriage lamps. You're not going to find those 1940, late 40s, early 50s shapes. There weren't molds yet. So I don't think that those would be true World War II era ornaments. I hope I've shown you some of the shapes that are definitely World War II era. I don't like to get too caught up on things because let me show you the mystery, the magic that can happen. In this tray, I have two identical ornaments. I have a Made in USA cap on that Corning bulb. I have a cardboard cap on the same identical ornament. Same thing here. I have a red opaque with silver with Made in USA top, and here I have an opaque with the circle cardboard cap. Remember, all your ornaments start as clear transparents, but I can change an ornament. If I wanted to, I could take one of my heartbroken cardboard caps from something that I dropped and literally glue it on another ornament and make it into a cardboard cap. I wouldn't be too concerned about finding cardboard caps. I'd be concerned about, does your tree make you happy? Does it make you think, I want to keep that up 365 days of the year? Because there's magic that can happen and caps get switched back and forth. So collect what you like. I appreciate you buying my book and watching my videos. Have a very Merry Christmas.